Hi, and welcome to VBS. I am so excited to have you on our team. My name's Laura Kaufman, and I'm the Director of Family Ministries here at St. John's Lutheran Church, and I get to be the first one to tell you how important you are to us. Your service has been bathed in prayer long before you felt that tug on your heart, and so I just want you to know that you made the right choice. We at St. John's absolutely value our ministry partners, and that's what we call you, our volunteers. You're our ministry partners, because without you, ministry wouldn't happen. There is no job that's too big or too small to be less essential or more essential. Without every single piece of the body, it just wouldn't work. So if you're ever stuck with stinking thinking and not realizing how important your role at VBS is, stop right now, because you matter, you're important, and we couldn't do it without you. A couple of things about St. John's Children's Ministries, and most importantly about VBS, because that's why you're here watching this video channel, right? Just some of our core values, just so you know, and what drives us in our decision-making process. We are a mission-driven church and a mission-driven ministry, which means that we believe that the Holy Spirit has charged us with the high calling. It's a very high calling to get to teach the gospel message to children. And so that is our first and foremost in all of our decision-making. We're completely prayer-powered, so we started praying for this VBS process as soon as the last one ended. So over a year, this has been in prayer, and you have been in prayer. We're completely Bible-based. We believe that the God's Word is the sole authority. So when in doubt, we check scripture, and we want you to know that we believe we're relevant and we believe you're relevant. What the kids are learning may have been written thousands of years ago, but it applies just as much today as it did then. And so it's our jobs and our pleasure to get to show children how the words that were written thousands of years ago apply to their lives. We are completely relational. We want to have relationships and build that trust with our volunteers or ministry partners, and also with the children and families that we serve. And so any way that we can help equip you, encourage you, love on you, pray for you, and help with that relationship between us and the relationship between you and the children you're serving, that's a huge ultimate goal for all of us on our team. And then a huge one, if you're a youth watching this or parents of youth, we equip children to serve. I believe that the greatest success that we can have is a child that's gone through all of children's ministries and then can't wait to come back and serve younger children. That is one of my favorite things and one of my most exciting things. And then we're creative and fun. We don't just sit classroom style, although classrooms are really fun, teachers. We don't just sit like a school. We're creative, we're fun, we're always looking for new, innovative ways to bring the Bible to life for children. And then I said this before and I'm going to say it again, we value you. Our ministry partners are everything to us. So anything that you need from us, any encouragement, any resources, ideas, stepping in, whatever you need, we are here. That's why we serve. That's why we are in this position, is for you. And so again, welcome and thank you, and know that I love you and I'm praying for you.
Hi, welcome to St. John's VBS Training for 2017. My name is Nikki Wheatley, and I will be joined by Miss Irma Bates to talk to you about safety and security. The first thing we want to discuss is the 2-leader rule. There should always be 2 adult leaders in every classroom during our St. John's sponsored events, which includes VBS. If there is only 1 adult, there needs to be at least 3 minors in the room with the adult. This includes youth helpers. Youth helpers are any volunteers under 18 years of age. We do not allow any unsupervised minors, that includes youth helpers, alone with children at any time during our sponsored events. Next up, we'll be talking about check-in and check-out procedures. Every child will be checked in by a parent or guardian And on the sign-in sheet, they will need to fill out the child's name, the person picking up name if it is different than the parent, as well as any allergies and a point of contact in case an emergency happens. The same person should be picking the child up at the end of the day will just sign the sign-in sheet. If there's a plan for someone else to pick up the child, they need to make sure to leave the name of that person on the sheet. We will then ID that person at the pickup time to make sure the right child goes home with the right person. Next up, we'll be talking about our bathroom policies. Children 5 years of age and younger should utilize the bathrooms inside their classrooms. They're there for them to use and no need to leave the room unless you're on your way to another activity. Children 5 years and older should be taken to the bathroom in a group. Boys with at least one boy leader and girls with at least one girl leader. The leader should then take them to the restroom and stand outside the bathroom door, allowing time for all of the children to take turns going to the restroom. If it seems that they are taking a longer time than absolutely necessary, please feel free to open the door and yell the child's name to come back out and join the rest of the group and head back safely to your classrooms. No leaders should be alone in a bathroom with children at any time.
Hi there, my name is Irma Bates, and I'm here to talk about what most of us don't want to have to talk about, but it's our responsibility to look for signs of possible child abuse. There are 4 different types. They are physical, emotional, sexual, or just signs of neglect. If you notice any of these things in your environment with kids this week, please, we need you to contact Laura Kaufman, our family's director, and we will take care of the situation. If you need more information on how this looks and what our procedures are, you can find those on page 9 of your employee handbook.
everyone, it's Nikki again, and I'm here to talk to you about leading your small group. So this is for adult leaders and assistants as well as youth helpers. Everybody should have a small group of 5 to 6 kids, and they will be your kids the entire week. Establish that at the beginning of the week, commit to it, stay with those kids, and make sure that they know who you are and that they can trust you. The first step in doing this is to make them feel comfortable and get to know each of them by name. By the end of the week, they will be so happy to see you in worship on Sunday because you know them and they are now your little friend. Pray. Pray with your kids. Make sure that they know that you care about them. Find out special prayer requests and pray together at the end of each day so that you know what's going on in their lives and what means something to them. Next up, I want to teach you a little bit about what it means to be a first, second, or third grader. You'll find more information about this on page 14 of your student handbook. First and second graders need routine. They like a variety between quiet and active activities. They need to belong. They love being part of a big group of friends. They like having fun, and being a part of that big group is important to them. Please help them connect Bible to real life. They like learning the Bible events and the stories, and now it's easier to see how those events from a long time ago can impact them and mean something to their life as it is. Some of them are not quite up to the same reading level yet, so don't ask them to read unless they volunteer so. Next up, discipline. So as you're sitting in your small groups, you're going to get a lot of different personalities. You're going to have the kid who likes to talk a lot. You're going to get the kid who doesn't like to talk at all. You're going to get the kid who likes to make fun of other people talking of the kid who likes to talk a lot. Each child is different, and it's important to recognize their differences and love them for who they are. But still, we need to talk about discipline, and we want to talk about discipline that disciples. So the first thing is, make sure that child knows you love them. Second, establish clear expectations. If you're clear from the beginning that behavior is unacceptable, it's easier to stick to it later. State what will happen when expectations are met and when they are not met. Give rewards in a consistent manner. Also, give consequences in a consistent manner. Use the resources of the team. If a situation merits something more than gentle changing of the attitude by saying things like, please keep your hands to yourself, or if you continue to do that, I'm going to have to contact your parents or talk to them at pickup time. If it's something much bigger, please feel free to reach out to me directly. I will be around campus and happy to come and assist in special discipline areas.
Next up, we're going to talk about sick kid policy during VBS. When in doubt, ask parents to keep them out. If they have any symptoms such as diarrhea, a fever, vomiting in the last 24 hours, they may not join their class at VBS. It is imperative to keep the other children safe, that we gently let parents know unless they are running clear with their nose. We need to just as firmly and gently as possible let parents know that you will send home any missed crafts or activities and they will be able to enjoy them the next day. They'll be greatly missed, and there also is no refunds for sick days taken. Hi, I'm here to talk to you about leading a small group with 2 and 3-year-olds. How does that look for a toddler? Kind of fun. So they are super excited about hearing what you have to say, but you want to give them an opportunity to speak. You want to try to keep them on task, which is going to be a little bit difficult, especially if you've covered multiple things. So keep your questions to them short and simple, where there kind of really is only 1 or 2 questions or answers to that. So they learn by experiencing. They want to see things and touch things and smell things and maybe even taste things. So you want to label your questions or give them an opportunity to do those things throughout your talk. They'll remember that conversation so much more. Also, short attention span. Keep it short and sweet. Don't go on and on, kind of like I'm doing now. Keep it precise. And again, where there really is only 1 or 2 answers, That way you can also keep them on task. Repetition. You can phrase the question another way where the answer is still the same, but that way somebody else has an opportunity to answer it. Naturally curious. The answer and question, why, is going to come up a lot. So be prepared. Try not to get frustrated when you're answering the why question when another child just asked it. You may want to say, remember our friend just asked this question, instead of saying, this is the answer. Okay? So they need to also feel secure in their answer and asking that question, because you want them to talk. When they verbalize their question, they're actually learning through that process. I can learn about Jesus and God. Yes, you learn more along with them as they answer questions, and you are forced to find an answer and to simplify it. If the answer is super big and you get to make it very realistic and very personal to them, it's going to bless you in the process.
Okay, so I get to talk to you about preteens, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. And let me start off by saying that you are a saint for stepping up and leading our preteens. They're my passion. I love these guys because they're so quirky and awkward and strange. And so, God bless you. You're on my team and on my heart. And so let's get a little bit equipped for how do we deal with these alien invasions that are taking over the preteens, and how do we minister to them and really speak to them. Something that's really important to know first off is how we discipline. One of the things that I really strive to remember, both in ministry and especially as a mom, is that discipline comes from the word disciple. And so when we're disciplining, we're looking for opportunities to disciple the children. We're not looking for opportunities to punish them or to shame them, but we're actually looking for ways to disciple them and lift them up and steer them onto the path that God would have them go. So my biggest thing, I'm all about positive reinforcement. The more you can catch them being good, and with some kids that's just, hey, listen to me, and that's their good. The more you can catch them, the more you can affirm them, the more you can reinforce the behavior that you want in them, the more they're going to rise up to that. So that's my first thing, is affirm, affirm, affirm. The preteens need to hear that. The world is pushing them down. They need to hear that you notice every small thing that they're doing well. That's hard to balance out because you have those kids that are complete rule followers that just, steal your heart, and you love them and you don't notice the things that they do naturally because they're naturally obedient, they're naturally people pleasers. Those are the ones that you also need to affirm and say, hey, I noticed you've been listening to me and participating and sweet and kind all day. And then other kids are constantly pushing boundaries, and those are the ones that you affirm, like, hey, you walked with us this time. Good job, Johnny. So find that balance. Again, I'm all about the prayer. Ask for God to lead you, but look for as many chances as you can to affirm those kids. That's a big step in our discipling and should help ward off the need for next step discipline. I'm also very big on kind of trying to redirect behavior, and I know that's a thing that you talk about when you have little toddlers and they're going to do something like stick a fork in a socket and kill themselves. But with preteens, it's more redirecting negative talk or negative behavior to something positive. So it is absolutely okay to cut off negative talk or mean talk that they're doing to each other, and then saying, you know what, let's talk about how we can show love to this person, or instead of gossiping about them, let's talk about what Christ would want us to see in them. So just redirecting the behavior. One of the things that helps my brain is as they move into adolescence and later into adolescence, they're actually going through a second toddlerhood. And so in my brain, if I picture these oversized, starting to get peach fuzz and smell bad kids, and I picture them as toddlers, then most of it's pretty funny. But redirecting them like you would a toddler is actually very effective. If you need to go a next step, usually they're looking for attention. So having someone in the class be able to separate them out, remember safety training, not one-on-one enclosed in a room, but usually a hallway is a good place, but separate them out, separate them from the pack, and just say, I need to give you some time to think about your actions and to calm down so that the rest of your group can participate in this activity that we're doing right now. So just separating them, letting them know that it's not a punishment, that it's an opportunity for them to think about what they're doing and to just calm down and redirect and then join the group. If it goes beyond that, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to spank them, but you are allowed to call me and I will come and talk to them. So any next steps beyond just separating them from the group is probably when you need to call me in to help deal with the situation, and I'm happy to do that. Discipline. Understanding the preteens, I touched into it a little bit. The third, fourth, and fifth graders, fourth, fifth, and sixth graders, I'm sorry, I talked too fast for myself. Fourth graders are just starting to do that shift between what my parents and the respected adults in my life think is what matters to my parents and other adults in my life don't know anything and my peers know everything. And so especially as we move into the 5th and 6th grade years, that becomes more and more evident, and it keeps that trajectory up through most of high school, which means that our youth are very important. So the youth that are, if you have a 4th grade classroom, the youth that are in your classroom are going to be closer to peer age for these kids, and so they're going to want to connect with them, want to be around them, and that puts a lot of responsibility on you, youth, to be kids that are mentoring and showing that good behavior to your 4th graders. But it's also for the field games and the people working in crafts. That youth, those teenagers, are who our 4th, 5th, and 6th graders are really looking up to and emulating, which does not mean that we as adults get to sit back. They're also looking for love and reinforcement because they're stuck in the transition phase of being little kids but thinking big kid thoughts. So they still want to talk about building Legos and playing their silly games, and maybe they're secretly watching cartoons in the morning, or not so secretly, but they also want to do big kid things. So they're stuck in this transition, and they need the adults in their lives to reinforce that it's okay to be exactly as they are, that they are exactly how God created them, that they're developing exactly as they're supposed to be. So again, affirm, affirm, affirm. You are loved, you are valuable, you are wanted. Sometimes you have to pray over some kids to get those words to come out authentically, but I believe in you, you can do it. So one of the things that's very important for kids going into this age, a lot of them know a lot of biblical facts. They can recite Bible verses. They can tell you even some pretty obscure Bible stories. They know it. They know their Bible, a lot of them, but they don't know how it relates to them. And so your 4th, 5th, and 6th grade curriculum is designed to help them not just see the biblical truth, but then how does that relate to my life? How does that translate to me? Because they're self-centered creatures right now, and they want to know, what about me? And so we're striving to teach them that. One of the ways we do that is to build in small group time. Small group time is very important. If you need to trim out anything in your curriculum, trim out some of the large group lesson that I wrote and jump into small group time. They need a safe place where they can talk and share and ask questions and be engaged and hear why does this matter to me? And they're not going to hear that if they're in a large group setting. In a large group setting, they're looking around and thinking, how do I fit in? Who's judging me? What, I feel weird. My t-shirt is a little bit different than theirs. It's not, by the way, but they're going to have this awkward, what everybody else is thinking matters more than what the teacher is saying. But in small group time, they have a safety within the numbers, and they have you more directly. So really build that in, and I am okay if you have to cut out large group to build in the small group, because this is about relationships for preteens, and that's what's important. Go through the curriculum, let them ask the questions. Everything kind of relates back to, so what do I do about this? I have this information, I know this biblical truth, what does it mean for me? That answers the selfish nature of a preteen, but it also is a sending and a challenge for them. So don't just throw things out to them, but challenge them and then check in with them later. A couple of tricks with preteens, well, pretty much with anybody in small groups. Try this next time you're with your group of friends. You are going to want to sit between your two loudest ones. So choose your two that are either the most talkative or monopolize the conversation the most, or are not paying attention because they're talking to each other. They get the pleasure of your company, so you get to sit right between them, and you get to put your hands on their shoulder. Having that physical touch is calming for them, and it also makes them aware, oh yeah, she's there. So you can put your hand gently on their shoulder. Yes, we do allow you to touch them, just no front hug, but side is totally okay. So you have your hands right there, or able to touch either of them if they are being loud or unruly or disrespectful. And then this is a big one. You're going to want to sit across the table so that you can make eye contact, not creepy eye contact with the quietest or shyest one in your group. That lets them know that you see them. Look up often and see them. And if you notice a little shake of the head or a hand up and then down, they want to answer, but they're not sure. You wouldn't catch that if you weren't right here with them. So your shyest one here and your two loud buddies right here in small group. Try and encourage everybody to talk, but don't force them to. All the different, like I said, the awkwardness. Some kids deal with that insecurity, awkward, where do I fit in, by being really loud, boisterous, and just, this is me. And that's an expression of the insecurity and awkwardness that they're feeling, and other kids withdraw more into themselves and are afraid to say something because they're afraid of being judged. It's all kind of the same thing, just manifested in different ways. So if you can encourage them and let them know that what they have to say is valuable without forcing them to say anything, they will start to trust you and feel more comfortable. And I believe that by the middle or end of the week, they'll start to share either in the group or privately with you when you're walking from activity to activity. The last thing, speaking of walking to activity, in your small groups, those are your kids. Those are the kids that you are going to make sure we don't lose. So when you're on the field, count your kids, count your small group. Youth, that's you too. You're going to be assigned your own small groups, adults obviously, but those are yours. Those are the kids that you are responsible for. So play with them, check in with them, do crafts with them, talk to them, eat snack with them, pray with them. Those are your people for the week. And so as you move from place to place, that's who you travel with, that's who you encourage to travel together, and that's also who I'm going to charge you to pray for. Your curriculum book has space for prayer requests. Write those down, bring your book home, and pray for those kids. You are going to be amazed at the transformation. This time in their life, this time that you've chosen to serve, you can have a lifelong, lasting impact. You can be one of those memories that an adult looks back on and says, I remember that person. That person changed the trajectory of my life and how I feel about myself and how I relate to God. I believe in you. I know you can be that kind of difference maker.